What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're filming on my iPhone because I was in a hurry to get over to Doge's house here today and left it on my countertop essentially. So we got everything we need. I want to give a big shout out to, and I don't know exactly how to pronounce this, but it's Hondo KDA9 on Instagram. So if you guys want to go give him a follow, big shout out to him for actually sourcing the cluster plugs for me that Doge has in his hands. There's, for whatever reason, DC Integras are apparently hard to come by in the junkyards out here at the moment. So I've been hunting for probably a month and a half, 2 months, and I got a GSR DBA cluster from a mutual friend of Doge's and I's. So shout out to him, aka Andy. And yeah, so we're gonna wire this in. Again, I'm sorry for filming on the phone. It's a new phone. Hopefully quality isn't too bad. Hopefully the audio is okay. You don't hear any scratching and rubbing on my hand as I'm holding this. But first things first, get yourself the cluster, get yourself the plugs, and get yourselves the pinouts. So in our case, Doge happened to have a factory service manual for the 94. This is a 95 cluster, so it should be the same. We got 2 sets of plugs to try. And then you're going to need the pinout for your car. In my case, being a 93 or 92 LS, I have the factory service manual. You can go online to a website called hondahookup.com, and there's quite a few factory service manuals on there. Not all of them, but they're all user uploaded, so some of them may be a little bit harder to read because it's like somebody took a screen and put it on one of those photo machine things and then uploaded it to the computer like that. But it is on there nonetheless. So if you need your files or you need your factory service manual and you can't find one or you don't want to buy one, it's free on there. Just sign up with your email. As for tools, this is basically all you're gonna need, at least to get the cluster and stuff out. You will have to have, obviously, some wiring equipment. That's why I haven't come to Doge's. I have some basic wiring stuff, but he does a lot more wiring than I do. So he's got a little bit nicer equipment. So that's what we're doing here. In this case, to get this stuff off, you have to take your cluster out, obviously. And here on the DAs, yours is gonna be pretty much the same. Mine's obviously right-hand drive. So it's all the same bolt, except you're not gonna have the gauges here, obviously. So first things first, you got a few screws. You got 2 up here. Take your steering column cover off, and then you're gonna have to take your kick panel off. There's a screw that holds it up on each side here usually. I can't remember, it's been a while. Normally you have your climate control and stuff. You have to pop this lower panel off. I'm sorry, not the whole panel, but there's like a little triangle piece here, and that will reveal a screw here, and then pop your switches out. I usually just use a little flathead. Just be careful because they do break. If you happen to break them, hit me up on Instagram and I can sell you some because I collect them from the junkyard because I've broken so many. And then yeah, once you got all your screws out, it'll just kind of like snap clip out, and it's pretty simple, but it is old plastic, so be careful. So if you guys didn't already break your clips, sometimes you have enough slack, depending on if somebody's been in your dash before, that you can just unbolt it and pull it forward, and then you just push them out gently from the back. If I can do this one-handed. Yeah, like that. That way you don't have to risk breaking the clips. But yeah, there you go. And then just unhook them from the back. All right, so we got our bezel out of the way. The cluster is only held in with 4 screws, 1 in each corner. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in this case, I don't have a speedometer cable, so if you do, you're gonna go under your hood, go to your transmission, and disconnect your speedometer cable from the inside, so that way you can get some slack. And then once you have your screws out, we can pull the cluster out a little bit. You'll disconnect your speedo cable if you have one, and then you can just unhook your cluster plugs. Okay, screws are out. Just give this a little bit of a wiggle. And there we go. Normally, like I said, you have your speedo cable. It'd be a white plug, big old white cable. Hard to miss it. That's as far as you go. You know what's sad though, is I've had the same LEDs in this car for a couple of years now from Pure Diamond Lights, and I'm gonna have to buy some new ones now for a DC cluster.
Oh, they don't swap across?
I don't think so. Oh, they might. I don't know.
Hopefully they're the same wedge type. We'll find out.
There should be. That's where your speedo cable would be. But yep, cluster's out. As for the DC one, I don't know if it's definitely not going to be a straight bolt in, but that's where just using some ABS plastic comes in. I mean, it's relatively kind of the same-ish shape, so can make some sort of bracketry. I can honestly just take a piece of flat stock and just some thin sheet metal. You can mount it right up across there, drill a couple holes, and that'll hold it in place. And yeah, I mean, it should be fine from there. Should be okay, but that's not the important part. That's the creative side of you that gets to figure that out for yourself. I'm just here to help you with the wiring. Here we are on, the way it downloads is kind of funky, so I found my electrical PDF, and this has the diagrams like you can see. So in this case, this would be like cruise control test, and it tells you how to do that. It has like what ohms, all that stuff. You can do the order in which to do stuff, but we're looking for the gauge assembly, which is 23-2, what 210?
110.
110, oh wow. So we're up here a little bit. Oh well, okay, we're up here a lot of bit. Okay, there we go. 23-110. So it's got the connectors, A 1 through 10, blah, blah, blah. It tells you which pins go to what. And then if you just find it here, it gives you basically everything that you need. And we just got to find the actual diagram here and go from there. All right, for those of you guys that are going to be too lazy to actually download this for yourself, you can go ahead and pause the screen now and get the pin out. So the way you're going to be reading this is, for example, we'll start with, say, the ABS unit. If you have ABS, you're going to find the blue-red wire, and that'll be at connector B, pin 3. And that's kind of how you read it. So you're going to want to make your own little chart of that, maybe write down on a piece of paper to compare it between this one and your other one. But screen pause, or pause the screen for this one. And here you guys go on the second page. You're welcome. So what Doge is doing here is just making a paper side-by-side version so we can compare them, so that way it's easier to say like 1, 1, 2, 2 for DA, DC, DA, DC. And once that's all drawn up, then we can take to the car, we're DJB, and we can get to wire and get to splicing. So we're doing it the long-lasting way, and we're using solder and a soldering iron, and then we're gonna try and make it last. And you know, you got your heat shrink and all that stuff, so you can go ahead and just butt connect it if you really want to. Obviously just wrap your wires nice and good so you don't get no issues, but this is obviously the more efficient way, long-lasting way. A little bit more time-consuming and tedious, but it works. Make twisting wires together look so easy. It's like my biggest struggle when trying to solder is they never stay together.
Yeah, that's the trick, is trying to learn how to do it. I usually come across at like 90s. There's an actual proper way of doing it. But
yeah, mine
it takes like 1.5 inches of wire.
I can never get them to stay straight. Anytime I do it to get it to hold, it's always like it sticks way out.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
That good. You make it look so easy to do, and I struggle for 10 minutes to solder one wire.
It's practice. It's a lot of practice, man.
Having a good iron definitely makes it easy.
It does, yeah. It needs to get up to temp, and it needs to be able to do it, like, have some power behind it.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, you're going to wick all your temperature through the wire, and it just doesn't do shit for you.
Yeah.
Or what's nice about this, like you can see how much extra wire we're going to be putting in.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of overkill, but
we'll have plenty to work with.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to do. And if there's any mistakes, you can cut back and not have to sweat it. So, yeah, exactly.
All right, so just to remind you guys, or to show you guys how the diagram from the FSM is set up, we're going from the back of the connector. So right now he's working on the wire for the door connector, like the door open thing. So in this case, it was B5. So the connector on the diagram goes from the back of the plug. So we're looking at the back side here, and it goes from
left to right.
Yeah, left to right, like you would read a book. So you got B, because we marked it B, just matched it with the diagram with the wires. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one, in this case, is the blue with the red stripe. And then that's just where he's cutting it and splicing it in.
So comparing to the online picture that we had there, that someone had sent, they were counting 5. Actually, I think they counted it like B. They would have called it like B9 or something like that. They were counting backwards, which just a little bit of confusion. But yeah, just double check your stuff for sure.
So Doge just finished up the wiring. Everything is all soldered up. So now we're just gonna heat shrink it, and then we're gonna clean up the harness, and then I'm just gonna throw the cluster and make sure it works. and then I'll put together the bezel and stuff at home. I'm not worried about that because it's freezing and I don't want to hold this all up here trying to screw in little tiny screws here at night. So yeah, I'm excited to see if this thing freaking works.
Definitely double check.
Yeah,
definitely double check the wiring.
Yeah, I'm excited to have a freaking speedometer. All right, all heat shrunk up. We got to clean up the wiring tight together yet, but we just want to give it a test quick and see if she turns on. So I guess go ahead and turn the key.
One more?
Yeah. Oh, we got SRS light. We got very dull, so a dimmer switch is probably down. Oh, no, it's just got old bulbs, so we'll have to replace the bulbs, but it is lit up nonetheless.
Those are correct.
You went down for right?
Yep.
Brake light works. I think we got it.
Cool.
Just need to, obviously we'd have to fire it up to see if the tack and all that works.
We had a headlight on. Yeah, so you're saying those?
Yeah.
High beams.
I'm trying to think. I don't need my AFR hooked up. It doesn't go to the ECU. It's just for me to monitor. So let's fire it up. It's a little cold out here, so bear with her. Ooh, we got working tack. I think we got her.
Fingers crossed, man.
All right, well, I will show you guys tomorrow once I get the bezel and all that put back together. It is cold. I am tired. We're all hungry. So yeah, I'll show you guys then. Catch with you guys on the morrow. All right, guys, I totally forgot to film this outro, but the cluster works. It is awesome. We did not wire in the speedo correctly because I totally forgot that with my car in specific, if you're running this on a stock B series setup, then you should be fine to just wire in the cluster as is, as shown previously here in this video. In my case, I'm running an RSX speed sensor, which does not feed the cluster because of the K series. So in my case, all I have to do is tee off from either the speed sensor wire and send signal to the cluster, or I can tee off from the pin that goes to the ECU and then send that to the cluster. Either or, just need to get signal from one of those two things to the cluster. So I will do that on a separate thing because chances are you guys probably aren't going to be running the same setup. And if you do and you actually need that bit of information, sorry, I'm trying to adjust my light here, feel free to message me on Instagram or leave a comment down below and I will try and get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll show you guys how we do that. But cluster works. I'm stoked. I'm just going to make some sort of bezel cover thing to fill up the little bit of gap that's around it, maybe shove some foam in there or something. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But guys, I finally got my shirt in, so if you guys want to get your copy of this shirt too, please support the channel and go hit the big cartel, which is in the description of the video. Anyways guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully you think it's a cool little mod, and we'll see you in the next one. So do what you love, think about the rest, and keep killing it. Peace out.